Good afternoon. Today is all about DBAs, doing business as. We all need a better understanding to make it work for us, so we'll be talking about the legal standpoint of DBAs as well as how to use doing business as marketing as a way to find more and more customers and actually just be set free with unlimited options to let your imaginations go wild and building a marketing campaign. My name is Steve Carver. I'm so glad to welcome you to my home office here in Dunn, North Carolina, where I also have a large bulldog that spends the day with me and lots of grandchildren that come through here. So my presentation number 1000 and number 6. And welcome to my journey into entrepreneurship. And thank you for letting me join you. I am not a lawyer and I'm not a CPA. But I am a fellow that's been in business for over 63 years. None of them have ever gone belly up, and I hadn't written a bad check yet. So we've been at it for a long time, made a lot of mistakes, and of course, by doing all this, you hopefully gain some wisdom if you're able to stay in business. And my first piece of advice, and that's what I'm doing today, offering free advice, is to always get second and third opinions if you're dealing with something important to your security or to your business. And one of the best places to get those second opinions is from your small business center at your local community college. And if you're not in touch with your community college and would like to be to get free advice and good counseling, I'll be glad to put you in touch with them. Jamela, I'll mention they got a great community college over in the Waynesville area and Haywood County, and I'll be glad to put you in touch with that small business center if you would like for me to. We're being sponsored today by the center in Nash Community College in Rocky Mount, and Derek Armstead is the director there who would love to hear from you as well. If he can help you in any way, Derek's a great young man, got a lot of experience in helping folks in business. Also pleased to say that he is ex-Marine, so thank you for your service, Derek, and for serving your nation as well. My story, I've been in the business since 1959 when I was 12 years old. You don't need to worry about doing the math. That puts me right at 75 years old. So I've been working for 63 years in entrepreneurship. We started out as a tractor dealer and went through all the processes and changes over to the point that now my company, CarverEquipment.com, is an internet dealer selling implements that go behind tractors and accessories to folks all over the nation. Got a real good business, very proud of it. A huge customer base that keeps coming back and keeps us in business. So I've also been in commercial contracting, landscaping, and mowing, government contracting for different types of government entities, including the U.S. Army and the FAA. Also military contracting and doing motor pool work and such as that. But my love is working with folks like you, entrepreneurship training. So we've done that for a long time. We used to do it all with stand-up face-to-face meetings at the Community College Small Business Center. But 3 years ago, that's all changed to where we are today. Hence, this old bird had to learn how to give a webinar. So hopefully I've learned enough that y'all be able to get something today. But I enjoy serving Eastern North Carolina. I call it my Chitlin circuit, because I enjoy dealing with folks in rural counties. So let's talk about our main subject today, which is DBAs and how to own a DBA and how to use it so that you will be able to do business as in different names. Let's just talk about it first of all. This is going to be a two-part show. Pretty much the first part being is the legal naming of a business part, and the second part will be how to use those DBAs to bring more and more customers to you. So the definition of the DBA is a legal process to change the name of a legal identity and to add additional names without having to create additional corporations, as Jamila was talking about. Very effective tool that I personally used for a lot of years, but had never registered my DBAs until about a month ago when I decided to do this program, actually to go through the process so I'd have firsthand knowledge. Needing a DBA is tied closely to the type of business structure that you're doing. And there's usually mainly two reasons that people will want to consider getting that DBA, and that is if they're a sole proprietorship or in a general partnership where their names are on the legal line, and now you want to do business in a different name so that you can reach more customers and let people know more about what you're doing by using a business name that people will be able to identify with. So generally, DBAs, that's the first two reasons that folks would get them. There's other reasons as well, which is I just want to expand with my product line and my services and give different names to what I'm doing. And you can certainly do that. And in North Carolina, it is a very easy process, and I'm glad to share with you. For example, and I'll use myself as an example a lot today. If I was a sole proprietor and I wanted to start doing my business that I'm doing this afternoon and call that business 360 Business Management Skills, then I would need a DBA. And I need a different DBA for other things that I might want to do business as, but I could still operate as a sole proprietor and still operate under one tax filing. But a lot of reasons people use DBAs, it's just like when people want to change their name for one reason or another, if they get married or get divorced or just don't like use their last name, just don't like it and want to change it, well, there's nothing to it. You go to well, there is a little something to it, but it's not a hard process to go through the court and legally change your name for your passport or your Social Security or every other way that you would be identified. But the commercial version of that for businesses, nothing wrong with it at all, but when businesses do it, we call it doing business as, or DBAs. There's 8 reasons DBAs may be in your future, maybe more, but I could think of 8. Let's just look down those right here pretty quickly. It's the easiest way to register your name. You can operate as multiple businesses. You can maybe need a DBA to be compliant with regulations in the industry that you serve. Maybe you just don't want to operate the business under your personal name, and I certainly understand that. Hey, maybe you dreamed up or your imagination went wild and you came up with a great name that you want to, one, use now or maybe use in the future, and you want to protect it and own it. Sometimes banks will ask you to create DBAs so you can put your actual name that's out in the public on your check. Maybe you're after a whole new market on the internet, and using a DBA may be a way that you can set up some more domain names and protect them for your future. And that would be the same as staking a claim on a business name. So those are some reasons DBAs may be interesting to you as a business owner. Now, in a few minutes, we'll stop, or anytime y'all want to just leave your mic on and interrupt, please do, or you can use the flag to raise your hand, and I'll see that you want attention. But with this audience we have today, if you just want to stop me at any time and ask a question, that's fine. We're not in a rush, not on a timeline, and we'll try to get your questions answered. Jamela, how are we doing so far? Am I getting in the areas that you were concerned about?
Yes, sir. Yes, I am taking notes. I appreciate it.
All right. I'm also going to be able to send to you a copy of this, a recording of this session. So if you want to go back on your own and look at one slide at a time or take notes, I'll be able to send that to you tomorrow, okay? So. Okay,
that's perfect.
All right. So the 4 steps to secure your DBA. Don't take it slow. I'm not trying to be too elementary here. I just want to make sure you get it. There's 4 steps to owning DBAs in your own that you want. First of all, make a list of the DBAs that you're thinking about adding. The list can be as long as you want it to be, but I'll tell you when you start filing, we'll be dealing with 5 names per form. There's no limit to the number of DBAs you can have, but you can't file but for 5 of them at one time on one form for one fee. So list down those DBAs that you're interested in. That's number one. For me, for example, I operate, my corporate name is Fast Forward Services Incorporated, but we've operated as Carver Equipment for over 60 years, but I had never registered that DBA. So this past week I sent in these names: Carver Equipment, carverequipment.com, www.carverequipment.com, and then my teaching is an Academy of Entrepreneurs and Associates, and my teaching name also is 360 Business and Management Skills Training. So that was the 5 DBAs that I listed down. If I was Charles C. Charles, and I don't know Charles, but I refer to him often, and guess what that C stands for? It stands for Charles too. But if I was Charles, sole proprietor, I might want to do business as CCC Farms, 3 C's Transportation, the Charles Winery, Charles and Company Distributing, Dr. CC's Barbecue and Blues Bar. Okay, I just using my imagination. There's no limit to what you can put down. Just have fun with it. So after you get that list, step number 2 is now we need to see if anyone else has already registered for that DBA in North Carolina. The key here is in North Carolina, because I'm not going to tell you anything today to keep somebody from registering that DBA in another state. However, that may be something that we would look for in a future lesson. But in North Carolina, you can find out if anyone else is using, number 1, a business corporation name or a DBA, because they're going to treat it the same in this computer software. So you go to the Secretary of State's website where it says business registration. You scroll down all the way to the bottom, and there's a place where you can enter in your choices, and it will automatically tell you if someone is already owns that. It really will. It's really quick. Furthermore, if you want to pursue it, you can do another click or two and find out who those people are and where they are. But it will tell you if it's already been taken. Most of the time, if it's been taken, you just scratch that off your list and just move on to some more. So the web page there will advise you if it's available. Now, I want to give you a caution right here. At the Secretary of State site, like so many in federal government as well, you'll get a pop-up that'll come up on your screen, and LegalZoom or some other business will offer to help you create your DBAs or find out this or that or get a domain name. Well, it gives you the impression that you have to choose that help, and then they're going to ask you for a credit card number and charge you for doing something that is absolutely free that you can do yourself. So when that pop-up comes up, ignore it. Just click it off and keep on going as if it never came up. I made the mistake once upon a time, a number of years ago, and click it on one of those pop-ups when I was getting a employer identification number. And it cost me about $200. They charged my credit card, and they didn't do a darn thing that I wasn't going to do myself. When I filled out their form, it was the same thing as filling out the government form. So be careful of those pop-ups, because they're out there to rip you off. They really are. All right, so we've gone and we're going to see if our names are good. So we've already done that with step 2. So we'll look at all the things. Now, the Secretary of State's website doesn't call them DBAs. They call them assumed business names. Assumed business names. And what you're after is an assumed business name certificate. And that form will come up on your screen. You can fill it out on your screen. You really don't even have to print it off. You can fill it out on your, excuse me, you do have to print it off. Print it right off, and you can fill it out. But in the handout that I'm sending to you, if you hadn't already gotten a handout, I'll send you another that these forms will be right in the handout, so you can print them off there if you want to, and with the instructions. So let's see what that looks like. Here's what the form looks like. Assume business name certificate. And you got about 6 or 7 easy questions to answer, to fill in, and you simply do that. And then after doing that, you either mail it or take that filled out form to the Register of Deeds office in your county, the register of deeds office in your county, and bring them a $26 check if it's in Harnett County. I got a feeling that most of the counties are going to be the same fee, but I'm not sure of that. But in Harnett County, it's $26. With that check, pay them, they will certify it, and by golly, you're home free. You're on them. That's it. And then the next couple of days, when you check that name at the Secretary of State's office, it'll show that you've already owned that DBA and no one else will be able to get it. It's so easy, it's crazy. But there's no limit to how many you can get. All right, any questions? If there is, go ahead and ask. Do you want me to go back through it again? I'll be glad to do it. All right. I'm not hearing from you, so let me know again. Interrupt anytime you want. So you got your DBAs now. These are the ones that you're going to operate as a business as, or names that you want to protect. Now, before I get into the rest of this, I'm going to talk to you about DBA Marketing. And there you might want to come up with some DBAs or aliases or branded names or a lot of other adjectives that we could put. But generally, you want this product name that you're calling it to be yours. So sometimes if it's important to you and there's a lot of value and potential future wealth there for you, I suggest that you go ahead and get your DBAs. You don't have to pay a renewal fee on them. If you ever want to change them, you have to send in another form. But they're so easy to get, I suggest that you maximize the number that you might want to be considering. Once we have our business name DBAs, that's one thing. But now I want to shift the focus to what I have used very effectively in my business and watched other people use them very effectively for a long, long time. And that's doing business as, marketing as DBAs. So why do we want to consider that? So I'll start out with a question. Why do a few stores in the same area with similar products vastly outsell the competitors? Or why do they stay in business and the others end up going out of business? Well, the answer will always be, with all these subjects that I teach on online, you'll find that the store that stays in business is utilizing a lot of different strategies and methods and shows their determination to be more successful and to outlast their competition. And one of those extraordinarily helpful strategies and methods is the use of DBAs to market your products. And under the umbrella, or over DBA being the umbrella, and under that comes branding and private labels and signature names. Those all will become DBAs, different ways that you name your products and your services. What do we have to do with that? It's all about attracting and enticing new customers and repeat customers to keep coming back. And just like honey and sugar attracts flies, the right DBAs attract new customers. So that's what DBA marketing is all about, enticing those customers to keep coming back. So into part two now, using DBA as a marketing tool. The first DBA we talked about was a legal identity. The second part is a marketing tool. So let's kind of look at that a little bit. Several different ways that we will use it. One, we've got a niche market of customers. And Jamala, you mentioned you've got a great example of a niche market of customers for one of the services that you want to provide. That is a certain parent group in a certain locality. But the beauty of internet marketing now, and this is where DBAs is proving its point, yeah, you've got a local customer base there that you can serve face-to-face maybe, but also you got, with what you're doing, you might have a worldwide customer base that using DBA marketing can help you reach those. So reaching niche market is very, very important. Number two, you just want to enhance your company name. Instead of calling your name your personal name, you want to enhance your name and give people an idea of what products that you're and services that you're offering, the different brands that you may be calling your products or that you may already own when you're advertising. So that's a real good reason take on some DBAs. Let's just think about promoting and enlightening the public about the diversification of your company. You may have a number of services that you want to let people know. That's why I wanted to name my company Training of Business Management and Skills. Is two related subjects, but I wanted folks to know that it's just not one or the other, but both. So that led me to get a DBA to let folks know that I am diversified. And on the back corner, back here in the dark, so to speak, not out in the great big light of the public shining on you, but it's the little quiet, subtle things that you can do through what I call guerrilla marketing techniques, guerrilla marketing styles and strategies that will help you attack the competition. I mean, just attack them. I don't like them at all, but kind of similar to all these attack ads that we see the politicians using. You can be a lot more friendlier than what they are and still get messages out by using your DBA, as a great marketing tool to start getting some customers from your competitors. I'll use an example in that I used to be a Kubota tractor dealer, Kubota. And Kubota tractors can be misspelled about 20 different ways. It is amazing how people can rearrange those letters and it still sounds pretty good, but it's spelled wrong. So when I was a Kubota tractor dealer, I would use different DBAs or landing pages, and I'd spell Kubota wrong like most customers do the first time. And I'd have more traffic on my landing pages that were spelled incorrectly than I did on my landing pages that were spelled correctly. Just pretty amazing. That's guerrilla marketing, and thinking about how that might apply to you could mean a lot of extra income to you. So 4 different ways to use the marketing tools. Let's start, first of all, let me give you an example of this DBA being Kellogg's. We have seen that on our grocery shelves and in our pantries and kitchens, in front of our children and in front of ourselves for so many years. We know that Kellogg is one single darn good name for food and one great marketing entity, right? Well, when we go to the store, one reason we know that is Kellogg is an expert with using DBAs. They're one company, but there's 76 different DBAs for Kellogg, right at your local grocery store. All these different products are a Kellogg one and a DBA second. Branding, labeling, but still remembering, I don't need to set up a separate business for every name change I want to make on my profits. So thank you, Kellogg, for giving us a great example. Here's another example of how folks are using DBAs even more better. Let's say that we've got a car that we're using in our business, and our business has twofold. Well, then this company has their marketing for one of their businesses on one side of the car, but on the other side of the car, it is marketing for another one of their businesses. So that's the same as you might say, well, my car, I'll put one business name on one door and on the other side another. And if you got another DBA, put it on the trunk lid. Still one vehicle, one company, one you, but you're marketing 3 different companies by using DBAs. It's a lot of fun, very effective. Matter of fact, any time that you can go mobile and use your DBA marketing, that is a smart thing to do. I don't know if y'all are old enough to have seen Bubba Gump in the Forrest Gump movie. I love it. I've probably seen it 10 or 12 times. That's a great movie and a lot of good themes in it, life lessons. But Bubba Blue was Forrest's friend over in Vietnam. Like a lot of other veterans, he didn't come back, but he was a great guy. But he taught me something when I was watching Forrest Gump that I never thought of until it dawned on me when I started teaching classes. But Bubba Blue is the king of DBAs. Now, you have a clue for what I'm leading to? Because Bubba Blue was telling Forrest Gump all the different ways that when they get their shrimp company going on, they could serve up shrimp. barbecued, broiled, coconut, pepper shrimp, shrimp salad. You can fix all these different shrimps that Bubba was telling Forrest about, and people will like them different ways. And the message here is that I want to say to you that if you're serious about selling your shrimp, then indeed you want to remember that people may like it one way and not all the other ways. And if they can't find the exact way they like it on the internet, they're probably going to keep shopping until they do find a web page that represents what they're looking for. So if I was in the shrimp business and I wanted, or in the restaurant business and I wanted to be serving shrimp, I would have a web page for each one of these different kinds of shrimp. I'd have a web page for shrimp and grits, and I'd have a web page for shrimp gumbo. Why? Well, when you're shopping at Amazon, remember when you click your buy, and when you do, a page will come up and say, people that buy this also buy that. Automatic saying, and by the way, we've also got these other pages you need to look at. As an entrepreneur, small business, you can use the same effect by having landing pages for each way that your customers might be shopping for your product. And that would be having different landing pages for your different DBAs, which represent private labels, signature items, and branding. So that's where we're coming from here. So thank you, Bubba Blue, for the lesson on that. Private labels is another way that folks can sell more products they don't have hardly anything invested in except the label, because there are so many folks that will package and make great products, and all you have to do is put your label on it, and then you can sell it. So I'm showing you some pictures here of specialized foods. And when you walk in the grocery store, you see these specialized food names all over the store. And for a number of years, I did these myself so that I would know how it works. And you can do it as well. You can buy pickles and beets and jellies and jams and salads and relish. Just unbelievable, around 200 or 300 different specialized foods, all that can be sealed in a mason jar with about a 2-year shelf life. You can buy and pretty much triple your money on what you're paying by marketing them. So I've encouraged and seen hundreds of restaurants and gift shops using these private labels now to enhance their business. That, I call that DBA marketing, because that private label is you're doing business as that label that you put on your product. Now, you can also be doing this with T-shirts and caps and a number of other things, but private labels are really easy to show you. This is an example. Recently, I was at a pop-up craft fair, and I saw these private labels displayed, get sauced. These are ready for people to buy. And then there's a store in Dunn, right here where I live, that has a whole half of their store wall all wrapped up with these private label items, and they do a tremendous job. As a matter of fact, I am probably thinking they're paying their rent. They're paying their rent and utilities with the profits they're making off of the private labels that they're buying wholesale and selling retail. And the only investment they have in it is buying the product with their label on it. Pretty good way to make money if you got a space and it kind of fits what you're doing. I did this for a number of years. I did some private labels for different things. I was doing a lot of operating and doing business down at Emerald Isle, North Carolina, where I had rental properties. So I did some private labels with some salsa. I drew up my own label and put these on the bottles. I love hot chow chow, but I didn't want to give it I wanted to give it a general theme. So I called it Carolina Country Kitchens. That was my DBA. You can do that as well. Name your kitchen as a DBA, and we sold a lot of super hot chow chow. But I'll also mention, to give you an idea, let's look at Morton Salt. You know, they're big. They're big in the industry and been around for a long time. So let me ask you, without looking at the slide, when I say Morton Salt to you, what color is their box? What is the photograph or the picture? What is the image on the box that reminds you that it's Morton?
The girl with the umbrella, and then she's pouring salt out.
Over her shoulder, that's right. And pouring out over her shoulder is telling you what? When it rains, it pours. That's their slogan. When it rains, it pours. They've been using that since back in the Civil War times. But they've stayed with their color, they've stayed with their logo, they've stayed with their slogan until it's very important to them. All those are DBAs for Morton Salt. And how does that work for them? Why is that so important? Well, when you go to the grocery store, you'll see Morton Salt on the shelf, and beside you'll see some other brands like IGA or Kroger or Food Line. They'll have their salt sitting right up there. And indeed, Morton Salt may be selling for $1, and you can buy two of the others for $1, being the same size. That's right. You see, Morton has learned that with their marketing that people will pay the top price for their brand. So lesson number one is, if you've got a really good brand and you want to call it your premier brand, then you would use a DBA and stay with it with your colors and logos and such as that, and keep the price high on it. It's a good value for what you're selling it for. But if you've got room to wholesale it, or to take a big cut in the amount you're bringing in and still make money, then you might sell some of your other DBAs, which are the same product, but for less money, and run specials and bargains and offer some wholesale opportunities. Because at the grocery store, the managers will tell you that no matter what they price their product at, no matter how low they mark it down, 75% of the customers are still going to buy the Morton Salt container, even if they're paying twice as much from it. That's why DBA marketing is so important. You establish your brand. So you might call it branding, but today we're going to call it DBA marketing. Now, what's the rest of the story? That container from IGA salt or Food Line salt or whatever other brand it was probably mined and packaged at Morton Salt Company, and Morton Salt probably put that IGA label on it for them. So you had an assembly line coming down the road with Morton Salt on it with their labels, and another line of containers would come down and they put IGA labels on it. And another line would come down, they put Food Line labels on it. Now, I don't know this to be a fact, so I'm talking in theoretical lines, but that's generally how that works. And I think that in most cases with Morton, they are packaging for everyone. I know they package for a lot of people. When we go to those private labels that I was talking about, the different types of foods that I was showing you a minute ago at the store, there's probably 1,000 different stores across America that's got this same product on their shelves, but they've got their name on the label. So the processor, the packer that prepares all these foods for you, they don't care which label they put on there. It's all great food. It tastes good, but they'll put different labels on there per case as ever how many customers want to get them, and that's the way that game is played. Whether it's with specialized jellies or fruits or tomato sauce or otherwise, it's all about DBAs. Am I going the wrong way or the right way? Okay, here we go. The marketing mix that we use when we're thinking about using our DBAs, we have to get back to some basics in marketing. So one of the most basics that's taught in colleges and universities, and has been for 35 years around the world, is what they call using a market mix. And marketing is all about having that right group of ingredients for your marketing plan. So the 7P marketing mix, which is known throughout education, looks at 7 different P's: product, promotion, price, place, people, process, and physical evidence. And that is teaching us that when we're putting together our marketing plan, like I'll do in week 3 of our 14-hour courses starting in January, when we're putting together our marketing plan, we're going to consider, are we addressing each one of these specialized areas to make sure we're maximizing our influence on our customer base. So we'll talk about the 7 P's a little bit now. The 7 P's, and I want to give credit here to Jerome McCarthy, who published this in 1960. Look here, that's 80 years ago, right? Or 60 years ago, in a book he wrote called Basic Marketing. So this isn't something brand new. It's been around a long, long time. But it is a very good way to make sure that you're checking off all the boxes in your marketing plan. So the 7 P's again: product, promotion, price and place, people, process, and physical evidence. Now, what I want us to do is to consider how we can use DBA marketing to affect at least some of these segments that we'll have to do with what we're doing. So does it have a place? Can we use DBAs to advance and enhance our marketing plan? Well, here's just a little slide that shows all the different things that might be considered when you're thinking about place or people or processes, just an information slide here. But I looked at it over the last couple of weeks and decided that we could absolutely use DBAs and be very effective with 5 of the P's. With 5 of the P's, using DBA with branding and private labels to help us enhance our marketing labels as we go along. So let's think about this. I don't use the profit. One of our profit centers we'll say is shoes. It might be a certain service, but I don't say we're selling products, and our profit center is shoes. It was easy to use. How can we add DBAs to shoes? Well, first of all, instead of just telling the world we sell shoes, it's more important that we tell them that we sell flip-flops or steel-toes work shoes, Western boots, Air Jordan, Sperry. We also offer shoe repairs as a service. That's taking the product shoes and applying DBAs to it to enhance the number of customers that will see our product. So we would use flip-flop shoes, Air Jordan shoes, to let folks know that not only do we have shoes, but we got the kind of shoes they're looking for. Someone shopping is not just no type in shoes, are they? No, they're no type in flip-flops, or they don't type in Air Jordan or Sperry. And when they can find a web page to land on, then they're more apt to do business with that person than someone that just had a web page that was named shoes. So taking it a step further, just with the shoe promotion, as you see here in the slide, using DBAs help you in a very serious way. Let's see here. In a very serious way, expand who you're reaching. So I took one of the shoes and was looking at a marketing campaign for all year long and was thinking that, and thinking ahead, that here's what I'll do. I will highlight some special shoes in May, in August, in November, September, July, and I'll constantly highlight my shoe repairs. But by using the DBAs that I will name my different products. So I worked on this example, I used the steel-toed shoes because they're used by loggers and linemen and welders and masons and truckers. You see, those people will be looking for welders' shoes or for trucker shoes or whatever. And when I have a marketing campaign that is really focused on them, and they're in my database that I'm sending out constant promotions to, I don't have a really good chance for capturing their business. If I have a web page that's up there year-round, I'll be able to get their business all year round. But when it's time to send out special promotions, I'll have different things that I can promote every month, which gives you the diversification you need to sell a lot of products. How about that? Can you see just how it just sets you free to come up with all the names that you want to do it? It's important now that you always remember the promotional standpoint. So that's what we're looking at here. By using DBAs, we're able to do a lot more effective way of promoting to not only our customer groups, but also all year long. Pricing, how can we use DBAs to enhance our pricing marketing standpoints? Well, in pricing, as I teach in our different classes, you want to use the different ways of pricing, like discounting, offering package deals, using the 99-cent method, always talk about saving, you having layaway plans available, mixing up the different pricing options so you're just not saying take it or leave it. Because if you're saying take it or leave it, I'll guarantee you 85% plus are going to be leaving it looking for a better deal. If you're offering them a way to find common ground now, there's a good chance that you'll keep their business right now. So take a look there. We might even use our flip-flops. We'll use one brand at 50% off while we keep the other one at retail, because that makes Bob's flip-flops look very attractive in a sale. Manipulating your strategizing, your pricing strategies are so important, and using DBAs, as I have an example here, lets you have a way to really mix it up good to keep it interesting for your shoppers. Place. Place is a big P in the 5 Ps. And by using DBAs to give your products a name that people will identify with as from a certain place is a real effective way to market. So you might call your flip-flops Tar Heel flip-flops, or Dixie Delight flip-flops, or maybe Outer Banks flip-flops, or maybe Haywood County flip-flops, or Maggie Valley flip-flops, or Halifax, or Roanoke River flip-flops, or Carolina Girls. Let your imagination go wild to give your products names that more and more people will identify with as theirs. And they will want it because of the name that you've given it. By doing that, you can identify with different places. So DBAs can really help us out with that particular P, can't they? The other P is just people, different folks doing different things. So by the use of DBAs, again, it sets you free to come up with all the different types of people that you want to target. It might be nurses. It might be people who do running or walking, or maybe you got some baby shoes or toddler shoes or hiking shoes or mud shoes or mountain shoes or river shoes. Whatever you think might turn someone on to want that product because of the name it is, that's where DBAs come into play. Isn't this exciting? I mean, it's just amazing how you can take one product and name it different things that will bring in so many different buying groups to consider that one product. So using DBAs will indeed set you free. It'll help you and your business use SEO. What is SEO? That's search engine optimization. And your landing pages, which are the different web pages that you have named to help people land exactly where they need to be. By doing all that we've just described here, you can explode your exposure using DBAs. All right, how about it, guys? Is coming through for you okay?
Yes, I love it. I wasn't thinking of doing more than one name for my product. I was kind of just locked in on parent education, but I can see if I do, if I can tailor it to the specific age, or say, are you having stress with your children? name it different ways and still be able to capture many different audiences.
That's right. And maybe you plan to do some workbooks or study guides, or books that they could share with their children and look through. When you're marketing your whole brand, and you are able to say, and by the way, I have this, and by the way, I have this and this. You're able to just enhance your business and really better satisfy your customer because you're giving them a more complete package. So, are you already into study guides or workbooks or to-do list for your teaching?
Yep, we do a to-do list, and we do like small study guides. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, those you can provide as part of your program and enhance it because you are offering that, or it might be something that you offer for sale, and you just market it as a different publication, not only to your students but others. But my objective is to help you have more profit centers in your business. I encourage people to have at least 5 different profit centers for every business to help you bring in different revenue streams. And there are folks out there, if you're not into creating and designing study guides or example books with art and stuff for children, there are folks out here that would actually work for you under your name and put together these kind of things to give you something to market. And I could share some information with you on that if you wanted to pursue it. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. So it's really exciting when you get into how you can use it in different ways. So I've been talking about these landing pages, and that may have been talking Greek with you guys, but here's an example. Here's the way I do it in my business, and here's the way you could do it in yours. And if I was in the shoes business and wanted to pursue these different types of shoes, then this is an example of how I would name new web pages to help bring people directly to me. Why? Because you want a web page that will closely identify with the customer who's typing in a search term. The more identity you can bring to your web page with the exact terms they're typing in means the higher up in ranking you will go on the search terms, and people will find your page before they find your competitor's page. So basically you would use your own business domain, and then you would slash it and add the special titles that you would address to your different DBAs or branding, and that's what it would look like right there. Okay? In addition to that, to help the search engines find you, they will identify you depending on how many times you use the word that the searcher is typed in, the keyword. How many times they can find that word on your page. The more times they find that word on your page, the more there to say, well, this is a great page. It's got a lot of information on this particular word. Therefore, I'm going to move them up into search. So the guerrilla marketing way to address this is not only you have your regular menu where you use these words and in the title on your page, but down at the bottom of the page, you will add just a paragraph of words. Words just like I've done right here that have no meaning to anyone. It doesn't hurt anything. At the bottom of the page, it's not going to be a reason for someone not to like your web page. But what it does is it gives food, I mean a absolute buffet of food for your customers, search engines, to bring your page up to the front. So notice here, I've just taken these particular words right from the search terms before, put them in paragraph form, put a comma between them, and just packed them in. Now, when I put this paragraph on each one of my web pages that apply to this, I'll reduce it down to the smallest print possible. It'll be so small you have to strain to read it, you know, way down below a number 8 or whatever. But it doesn't make any difference how big the print is. What the difference is that word is on that web page. And when those words are on that web page, the search engines will find it quicker and move it higher up. Now, another footnote here, which I haven't mentioned in the slides, and I need to, is that when you're doing these branding DBAs, right there's the perfect time to do a short video right on your phone, make your own video. Make sure you mention those words and talk a little bit, give a little sales pitch, convert it to YouTube, and then you put a YouTube link on that page, but you make sure that you name the video the search term. Because a page that has a video that's related to the search term will go ahead of all other pages on the internet in a Google search. You see, Google owns YouTube. They bought them several years ago. And to help their YouTube business, which they really have, they say to people that if you want your web page to be at the top of the list on a search, then you need to have a YouTube video related to it. I kind of just paid passive attention to that for a couple of years, but then I started watching. When I'd put a video on one of my equipment pages, I'd see my sales just soar, just multiply almost overnight on different products. And it was that video. So now it's hard to find a video at my a fast-moving product at my website that doesn't have a video related to it. And on really hot items, I'll have a lot of videos. The more videos, the better your chances. And I will assure you, my friends, it will make a world of difference for you. But those videos need to be named. The title of the video needs to be named the same as the search engine search that you're trying to fulfill. Next, using your DBAs, what is the success for the stability, sustainability, and long-term of your business? When you've done all this work, you're going to get a lot more action. You're going to get more emails. You're going to get more text messages. You're going to get more telephone calls. And so many entrepreneurs do not have their priorities set to where they're looking after this internet incoming business with the same gusto and zeal that they would some customer coming in the door. And that is a huge mistake. So answering email daily, hopefully earlier in the mornings, and checking it several times all through the day, and really making internet marketing an easy way for you to do business, because it's already easy for your customer. I mean, that's how they came to you. That will be a key to your success. If you're really good on the front end, but really fall down on the follow-up, it's not going to work. It all has to come together as a package that you put together to make it work really well. All right, we're going to turn it over to talking in just a minute. So have your questions if you want to, or we'll use some examples, or I'll be glad to work with you. But I do want to say on next Tuesday night, we're winding down our webinar season for the year. We have 2 more Tuesday nights that we'll go. Next Tuesday night, we're going to talk about training and keeping the best employees. And the last part of next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock is talking about becoming a dream manager. Now, this isn't something out in blue sky talking about dream managers. This is a real, tangible way to help you see your dreams come true, but just as importantly, to help you help other people's dreams come true. Really good and interesting program that I hope that y'all can join me on Tuesday night. So let's take now about the DBAs and the importance of mixing them into all of your marketing opportunities. Y'all want to turn your mics on and ask any questions or make any comments? We were able to go through that in about an hour, so I hope that I didn't go too fast for you. Do you have some examples of products that you're thinking about or names that we might be able to brainstorm a little bit and help you with any DBAs? All right. All right, well, let's review, I think, the most important part of the presentation for Jamila, was going through the process for owning your own DBAs. And I'll do the 4 steps again. 1, list down the names that you want to use. Write them down, have a list. As many as you want, but on each form, you can apply for 5 DBAs. On each form, 5 DBAs for the fee. Now, you can carry in 20 different forms, but you'll have to pay a different price, a different form price for each one, probably in the $26 range. So once you come up with the DBAs that you want to use, you make sure that no one else owns them. You do that right online. Then you print out your form, write in the different information. It's just asking you your name and what names you want to use and what your street address is. After you do that, you take it to the Register of Deeds with your check, and you're all set. That's pretty much it. All right, can I help you with any other questions you might have related to that, or really anything else?
It may be another class, but I'm thinking, so let's just say on a whim that I do 5 names. That's 5 different accounts, right? So that would be 5 different texts and all of that, correct?
No, ma'am. No, that's the beauty of it. You do not have to divide it out on your books. You will want to keep up with your profit and loss for your personal needs, but as far as having to have different tax returns, no. You might have a different page on the return, but it will not complicate you at all doing your tax returns.
Okay, well, good.
Which is good news, and I know that for a fact because I've been doing it now for 30-some years with my different DBAs. You know, in your bookkeeping chart of accounts, you'll have for your income charts, you'll have a line for one DBA, and then you can have a line for another DBA on how much money came in that was generated by that segment of your business. So, which is just normal bookkeeping with QuickBooks or anything else. And if you've got certain expenses that are related to that DBA, you can set up on your chart of accounts on your debit side just expenses for that particular thing, and you can have as many of those as you want. But you're operating as one business with all these different entities under it.
Okay.
And that ought to be good news for you.
Yes. Beautiful. I'm thinking. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure to work with you today, and this is what I had to say, and I've said it, so I'll let y'all go. I appreciate you staying with me. I'll send you an email to confirm that. Well, thank you so much. I wish you the very best and hope things go well for you over in Haywood County.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate your time.
All right.
And your insight.
All right. Bye-bye.